About his business quietly, and Mick Canane, well, I don't think he'll be 6 wide sitting on him this year.
Stay there, we'll have a chat to you some more in a second. This is the Melbourne Cup of 1995, folks. The tension now builds, the tension now mounts on the jocks, the punters, just about everybody. When we come back, we're only just a few minutes away from it. Foster's Melbourne Cup 1995.
Good afternoon.
He is nurtured in the Hunter, the Barossa, the Waikato. He is trained on dusty roads, along scenic windswept beaches, and from the busy city stables. He has ploughed our fields and cleared our roads. He has carried our soldiers into war. He has been our servant and our companion. And from Randwick to Ascot, from Flemington to Fanny Bay, he has been our hero. He is Archer, Farlap, Carbine. He's Tulloch and Rising Fast. He is Kingston Town. He's fit and he's full of fire and spirit. He is the most noble and aristocratic of all animals. He is the horse, and this is his moment.
Well, hello everyone, as it's time now to welcome the world to our institution. Some 300 million people around the globe, from Dubai to Dallas, are now counting down to the great race. The Fosters, Melbourne Cup of 95. The years, the months, the weeks and days of preparation are now done. Now there's just minutes left. The stayers, the best from both here and Europe, circling the birdcage. The crowd here at Flemington waiting to salute the one who can fly the highest of them all. In other parts of the world, there are the derbies. In France, there's the Arc. But here, in Melbourne, Australia, there is only the Cup. Let's join our experts, Peter Donegan and Jenny Chapman, as what should be simply a horse race transforms to high drama and finally history on this, the first Tuesday of November. Peter and Jenny.
Thank you, Tim, and good afternoon and welcome everyone, wherever you may be watching around Australia or around the world, to this, our great race, the Foster's Melbourne Cup. And Jenny Chapman is joining me for a scene that we love to see each and every year. It just gets better, Jen.
Oh, it gets better, that's for sure. The weather hasn't been that kind to us, Peter, this year, of course, but it doesn't dampen anything really, because it is the Melbourne Cup and it's a great race.
First run in 1861, it's now regarded as the staying championship of the world. And let's go through the runners now. The international horse number 1, Double Trigger, to be ridden by Jason Weaver and trained by Mark Johnston. He has won the English Triple Crown of Staying. He finished 4th in Paris at his last start. He's been in quarantine and then out of quarantine here in Australia, and he is a magnificent individual.
He certainly is, and this is the first time we've seen him here in Melbourne. He hasn't had a race since he's been here. He is regarded as the best stayer in the Northern Hemisphere, and I think you must respect his chances. He's a proven top stayer, and I'm sure he's going to acquit himself very, very well.
Last year's winner, number 2, Jeune. Wayne Harris is the rider. And barrier number 17, he's been running on. He finished 4th in the Cox Plate and he finished 4th in the McKinnon Stakes at his last 2 appearances. He won in rain-affected ground last year.
Yes, well, he won with 56.5 last year. He's got 59 this year, so a slight weight rise for him. But gee, it was a good effort in the McKinnon Stakes on Saturday. He's been looking for 2 miles for quite some time. He seems to me like he's going well. He's got the pacifiers off today. He's done it before. He can handle these types of tracks. A very good chance.
The 1993 Melbourne Cup champion, number 3, Vintage Crop from Ireland, trained by Dermot Weld and ridden by Michael Canane. He came back here last year. He was wide all the way and finished a magnificent 6th in the Melbourne Cup. He's 9 years of age, but he looks as good as he's ever looked.
Well, last year, Peter, he did draw barrier 17. This year he has drawn barrier 8. And last year he did go into the race with an injury. He had hurt his back hind leg. So this year everything's fine with this horse. The trainer's very, very happy with him. He's top top class. He's a proven stayer, and I think he's very, very hard to leave out of this year's Melbourne Cup.
And there is his trainer, Dermot Weld, talking to Michael Canaan prior to the race. Number 4 is the Phantom Chance, a Kiwi, winner of our Weight for Age Championship, the Cox Plate, 2 years ago, but his recent form is disappointing. Bob Vance takes the ride today.
Well, he's got a lot of weight here, the Phantom Chance, and really on his recent performances, it's hard to see him having the necessary improvement here to win the Melbourne Cup this year. I've got to say that I think the weight is probably going to stop him. He won the Cox Plate 2 years ago. He's paying for that now with the weight that he has received here.
The stablemate of the Phantom Chance is number 5. It's All in Fun, to be ridden by Shane Scriven, also in the care of John Wheeler. He's been racing without luck.
Well, he has. He's had 2 tries over the 2 miles, and he's been placed both times. And he's a horse that really, really loves this heavy type of going. He's got that here today, so with 55.5, he's probably not the roughest in the race. He's probably there with an each-way chance.
The Caulfield Cup is the other great handicap race in Australia, and here is the winner of this year's Caulfield Cup, the flashy number 6, Doremus. This mighty chestnut finished off his race magnificently. He's trained by Lee Friedman, who's already won 2 Melbourne Cups, and his rider, Damien Oliver, was second last year aboard Paris Lane.
Well, it gives Damien another great chance in the Melbourne Cup here. He ran second in it last year. This horse won the Caulfield Cup in pretty good style. He was fairly strong at the end of that. He's drawn awkwardly here in barrier 23, so that's going to make his work a little bit harder here, but he's a good horse, good up-and-comer, and he's not without a chance.
Number 7, Stony Bay, is one of 4 runners trained by the First Lady of the Turf, Gay Waterhouse. Darren Beedman is the rider. He's drawn barrier number 21, and he did need to improve dramatically on his recent performances.
Yes, his wet track form is not good at all either. He's a horse that can show speed in his races. In weight for age races, he is very tough. He can go out there and lead all the way, but I think he's going to find it a little more difficult here on this heavy going.
The world's premier jockey, Frankie Dettori, rides number 8, Bullwinkle, for Michael Kent at Cranbourne, a second in the Moonee Valley Cup at his last start.
Well, this horse handles a dead going here in Melbourne, and he's been racing quite well, this horse. His last run was in the Moonee Valley Cup. He ran second there, a nice even effort. Frankie Dettori, of course, is certainly in his favour, 53 kilos. He's not badly weighted, but just a slight worry on this really heavy going here.
Doremus won the Caulfield Cup. Count Shivas, number 9, finished in second placing. And Rodney Griffiths is the rider, trained by Don Selwood, a Kiwi, and Count Shivas. Well, they thought he might have gone off in appearance, but then he came back in the Caulfield Cup and really gave himself a chance in this big race.
A terrific run in the Caulfield Cup. He was really quite wide, and he went probably a little bit early there. He's a real stayer. He has won the South Australian Derby over 2,500. He won the St Leger here at Flemington over 2,800, and I think he comes into this race with a fantastic chance, an excellent chance.
The Sydney Cup winner, number 10, Darcher, trained by John Marr at Flemington, to be ridden by one of our most promising young riders in Brett Preble, and his recent form has been nothing to write home about, but he will get the trip.
He will get the trip, and he also handles these wet conditions extremely well. He's a Sydney Cup winner. He also won the Duke of Norfolk as well. He's a dour type of stayer, and he is a written guarantee to get the 2 miles.
The Werribee Cup winner, number 12, Double Take, John Didham, his father Midge, rode the winner of the Melbourne Cup here 25 years ago, trained by Royce Dowling, and he'll be up near the front, Jen.
Well, he will be up near the front. In fact, he won the Werribee Cup in pretty good style. He was challenged early on in that race, and he went on with the job quite well. The form out of that race has been good. We saw Coachwood come out and win quite easily on Saturday in the Crown Quality, so he's probably a good chance in the race at fairly good odds.
Quick Ransom, number 14, to be ridden by Mick Dittman, and this horse came out here for the Melbourne Cup last year when trained by Double Triggers trainer Mark Johnston. He was the first horse beaten, but he's been here since. He's acclimatised. He's now used to our way of racing, and he's been shaping like a horse who'll appreciate the 3,200 metres.
Yes, I believe that too, Peter. I think he's been looking for that type of distance. He ran on nicely in the Moonee Valley Cup last start. He's drawn 13, so he should be able to get into a fairly handy position here, and he's probably weighted here with 52 kilos to get, go quite well in this event. I think he's probably there with a place chance.
So Kingy, number 15, to be ridden by Peter Hutchinson, and this horse trained by Noel Leals at Ballarat. He'll appreciate the sting out of the ground, Jen.
Yes, the problem with him is he is yet to win beyond 2,200 metres, so I'd say he's probably got a place chance at best.
Fewer chosen, number 16, Larry Cassidy. His brother Jim has already tasted success as a jockey in the Melbourne Cup, and this horse, well, he's had 4 starts on heavy ground, and he's won the 4 of them, and he's a tip.
He certainly is, and nicely weighted too with 51.5. It gives Gay Waterhouse a terrific chance here with fewer chosen. Has run third in the Brisbane Cup, nicely weighted, so I think he's got a very good chance.
Also handling the ground, number 17, yes indeed, was running on strongly in the Caulfield Cup. Robbie Cadigan, the rider, but drawn badly in barrier 20.
Yes, but does handle these conditions, and I think very unlucky in the Caulfield Cup. Should go a little bit better here, especially with the weight that he has to carry, 51.5, a good chance.
The Moonee Valley Cup winner, 18 Storm, Greg Hall, won the Melbourne Cup 3 years ago aboard Sub-Zero, and this horse shaping like a stayer. The ground is the big query.
That is the big query. He has gone all right on the slow track or the dead tracks before, but the very heavy, we really don't know this horse. Nicely weighted with 51. He is a young improver, but a little bit of work cut out from barrier 19.
Also the query on the ground for number 19, Boart, this mare from Perth, third in the Caulfield Cup. David Taggart, the rider.
A terrific run in the Caulfield Cup. She did go a little bit early there. Only comes in with 50.5, but never ever seen a heavy track, so that's the big query on Boart.
Coachwood led all the way, number 20 on Saturday in one of the lead-up races, the Crown Quality. Brian York is the rider. He is considered by many the best front-running jockey in Australia.
Very, very easy win in the Crown Quality on Saturday. 49.5 kilos is certainly in his favour. Great jockey in Brian York, and well, his heavy track form isn't too bad, so he's probably left there with an each-way chance. 21 Dupan chased him home the other day, and what a thrill for young Stephen Baster riding for Alan Bell at Randwick. Yes, he's an unknown on the wet going. He got a mile back on Saturday and did go on to the line quite well. He's a young horse, an improver, and possibly at best probably a rough place chance.
And two more of Gay's, 22 Electronic, the mare to be ridden by Glenn Boss. She is carrying an injury at the moment, but she finished fourth here on Saturday to Coachwood.
And her wet track form is good, so it is going to suit her here. Nicely weighted with 48 kilos. A bit of a problem from barrier 22, but Glenn Boss should help that.
And can Nothing Like a Dane become the first 3-year-old in 54 years to win the Derby Melbourne Cup double? He is to be ridden by Shane Dye.
Well, he won the Derby in pretty good style on Saturday. 47 kilos is definitely in his favour, but he's got it back up after a very tough run, and on a heavy track over 3,200 metres, I think it's going to make his task a little difficult here today.
So there you have the field for the great race, and that is the trophy they'll be racing for, as well as the prize money. There is the glory of this, the most famous trophy in Australian sport. The Foster's Melbourne Cup. Candidates on their way to the stalls. Let's go to the commentary box, witnessing this great scene. Dan Malicki.
Peter, Double Trigger will run the favourite, $5.20 and $2.60. Jearn at $15.20. Vintage Crop, $8.80. The Phantom Chance win dividend in excess of 37. It's All in Fun, 22. Doremus at $9.80 to take off the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double. Stony Bay, 45. Bullwinkle at $25. Count Chivas, $14.40. Dartshire, 23. Double Take, $49. Quick Ransom, $19.40. Sir Kingy, $63.40. $11.60 for Few Are Chosen. Yes, indeed, at $20.30. Storm, $17.40. Boart, $32. Coachwood, $47. Dupan, $80. Electronic, $24. And Nothing Like a Dane at $15.50, with nearly $12 million in the win pool and almost $9 million in the place pool for the 1995 Foster's Melbourne Cup, Pete.
And as they go to the stalls, Dan, there has been a sensation here. Double Trigger has returned an irregularity in a pre-race swab. The stewards are going to let the horse run, but there is an irregularity in a pre-race test on Double Trigger, the Melbourne Cup favourite. It always brings us a share of drama, and today is no exception. These runners going up to the stalls now for the running of the Foster's Melbourne Cup. The crowd here at Flemington has come to life on a very dark and damp day, but now the excitement is in the air, and once again the drama comes to the race that stops a nation. Terry Kennedy is in the betting ring. We have bookmakers and totalisator here in Australia, and there'll be a flurry of activity minutes before the start of the Melbourne Cup, Terry.
Oh, Pete, the last-minute bets are going on at a furious pace down here along the rails. Even just along these rails, bookmakers in the last hour, some $8 million in cash has been wagered on the Melbourne Cup. Double Trigger, without a doubt, has been the best back runner. Jearn has been easy in the market. The other imported horse, Vintage Crop, has been extremely solid in the market and has registered some big bets at double each-way odds. The Phantom Chance, big odds. It's All in Funds, also big odds. Doremus has been solid in the market at around the $10 mark. Stony Bay, big big odds. Bullwinkle, Count Shivers, one bet of 200,000 to 16,000 on Count Shivers. Double Take, not in the market. Quick Ransom has blown in the market at the moment. Sir Kingy, big odds. Also well back down here, late in betting, has been Few Are Chosen, along with the two Gay Waterhouse horses down there, Electronic, and of course Nothing Like a Dane. Here's Tim Webster.
Terry, thank you. 21 stayers of varying abilities, all coming together under handicap behind the starting barriers for the 1995 Foster.
The 1956 Olympic Games and Australia's sporting capital. Here, sport is a year-round passion. From the Australian Open to the Masters Golf, international cricket, soccer and Australian rules football. And now, the new home of the Australian 500cc Motorcycle Grand Prix and the Australian Formula One Grand Prix. For more than 130 years, Melbourne has been the home of our premier horse race, the Melbourne Cup. Here at Australia's international racecourse, Flemington.
Yes, and they've turned up here again today in their tens of thousands. And Peter, you're just not an Aussie and you're just not human if you don't have adrenaline surging around in your veins right now.
Yes, 21 noble thoroughbreds about to run for $2 million in prize money, Tim, and this scene is always a magnificent one before the start of the Melbourne Cup. This year, no exception. One horse will earn a place in the history of the nation very shortly. Jen?
There's some betting news too, 20s into 12s. Jern, last year's winner, heavily back. Double Trigger, the sensation, returning a pre-race irregularity, but as you can see, he is starting in the Melbourne Cup. As they fill the stalls, let's go up to the commentary box. Dan Malicki and Gary Willits.
Thank you very much, Peter. Gary Willits, you remarked on how well the imports looked, and I speak also of Jern as an import. The top three.
Well, they look magnificent. And the ones out of the Caulfield Cup, I thought, did look very well with Count Chavas, Boart, Few Are Chosen, to Remus. They look great, but gee, these two imports, especially Vintage Crop, looks magnificent. I think he'll run a lot better, Dan.
Has run in 2 Melbourne Cups. And John Letts has won 2 Melbourne Cups. 2 Melbourne Cups you'll never forget. Let's see, what's the scene like from your vantage position at the barrier stalls?
Well, looking at him down here, I'd say that the Remus looks very, very settled. Him and Darcher were two that really caught the eye. They're just so relaxed. The top weight sweated up a little bit. But, oh, gee, if you had your pick at the barrier, and another horse that looks very well is, yes, indeed, very, very relaxed horse. But out of the pick of the bunch down here, really, Doremus looks well, Darcher, and yes, indeed, if you get a trifecta on here at the barrier, those would be the three that I'd like to be on. Storm looks well. He's a little bit reluctant to go in at the moment, but, oh, gee, they're all turned out in terrific condition, and, you know, it's tense, but you can expect that before a $2 million race.
Yes, of course.
There's Storm, Greg Hall.
Tips from Peter Donegan, Double Trigger, Jenny Chapman, Count Shivers. John Letts likes Count Shivers. Roy Higgins selects Double Trigger. Gary Willits likes
Vintage Crop, Dan. I'll stay with him and Michael Kinane. There he is right there.
The yellow with the blue epaulettes, yellow cap with a blue star. Colours we've seen carried to victory 2 years ago. The Irish champion.
Count Chavas on his left, and Boart. There's Doremus, Damien Oliver.
The last one to come up is Doremus. Boart ready. Set for the Cup. Foster's Melbourne Cup in 1995. And they're off and racing in the Cup. A massive roar from this big crowd here at Royal Flemington. And one of the first out was Bullwinkle, with Few Are Chosen, and also It's All in Fun. Coachwood going forward, so too was Double Take as expected. Darchar, Quick Ransom were up there in the early part, and also Boart's in the first 8 or so, and so too was Double Trigger. Wider out on the track, yes indeed, and also Stony Bay, followed by Storm. Doremus in the second half of the field with Electronic, and also Nothing Like a Dane. Drifting back in the field, Count Chivas with Dupin, and Vintage Crop is last of all. Running down the straight the first time in the Foster Melbourne Cup of 1995, and the leader is Coachwood. 1 of 4 in the race from trainer Lee Friedman. Double Take, a New Zealander goes up on the outside, and the favourite Double Trigger in the centre third. Stony Bay's caught out wide, and then came Fuart Chosen down on the rail. Dart Char's 3 wide, Bullwinkle's 1 off the rail. Then came It's All in Fun. Around it, Sir Kingy, and then Nothing Like a Dane. The 3-year-old's gone into about 11th position on the inside. 1.5 lengths away then to Storm, and yes indeed trapped out a little bit deep. The Phantom Chance in the orange colours midfield from Boart, and then Quick Ransom. Then came Jean. 1 length away Dupin on the inside of Doremus. Damien Oliver's done a terrific job to get it 1 off the rail from its outside barrier. Electronic was 3 wide, 1 length away Count Chivas, and Vintage Crop is last of all, and 15 lengths off the leader Coachwood. Along the Maribyrnong River side of the track at the 1800 metre point, and Coachwood for Brian York leads by 1 length. Double Take was second, and Double Trigger racing third. Darchar was fourth. About a half length to Stony Bay, but it's been wide from the outset. Getting up on the inside, Fuart Chosen's had a cosy run, and then came Bullwinkle. Followed by Nothing Like a Dane, saving every inch of ground is Shane Dye. Followed by the Phantom Chance. Around the outside, It's All in Fun. Stony Bay losing ground there. Yes, indeed, going around it, but it's out very wide on the track from Boart. Then came Quick Ransom, Doremus, and Jean improving its position. They were followed by Dupin, Electronic, Vintage Crop back of the tail with Count Chivas, and it's about 12 lengths off the lead. Around the back of the course, 1,300 metres to go, and Coachwood narrowly in front. Here goes Double Trigger around the outside, and around them also is It's All in Fun. Double Trigger had to be ridden along a little bit as It's All in Fun went up on the outside of Coachwood, and they've raced away 5 lengths in front of Double Trigger. Fuart Chosen getting off the inside is starting to run into it. So too was Bullwinkle coming with a run. Then came Nothing Like a Dane, Storm running on. Then yes indeed under the whip, a couple of lengths away Boart, followed by Doremus. The Phantom Chance, Quick Ransom, Dupin, Double Take dropping right out of it. Count Chivas taken to the outside. Then came Sir Kingy. Vintage Crop is back about 5th last. Double Trigger can't win, he is gone. Running up towards the home turn, It's All in Fun moved up to take the lead from Coachwood. A length and a half away third was Bullwinkle. Then Storm to the outside running on. Doremus has made up a huge amount of ground and running into it very strongly at the top of the straight. It's All in Fun and Coachwood together. Here comes Doremus, and Nothing Like a Dane. Nothing Like a Dane is getting through. Doremus hits the lead in the Melbourne Cup. Nothing Like a Dane is after it. Quick Ransom is running on late. Doremus for Damien Oliver, a length in front. The 3-year-old Nothing Like a Dane trying to run it down. Then Coachwood, Quick Ransom. Doremus has broken away. He's got them covered, I think. Yes, he has. Doremus is going to win the Melbourne Cup for Damien Oliver. Lee Friedman's third cup. Doremus wins by 3 lengths. Second placing, Nothing Like a Dane. Vintage Crop has run third. Quick Ransom fourth, and then Boart, followed by Coachwood, Storm, Dupin, It's All in Fun, Bullwinkle. A long gap to Count Chivas. Then came, yes indeed, Jean, Fuart Chosen, Electronic. Double Trigger was gone at the 800. The Phantom Chance, Darchar, Double Take, and last of all was Sir Kingy.
What a run, Dan, and what a delighted jockey. I see him giving him a good pat on the neck going past the post. But what a great run of the 3-year-old. Nothing Like a Dane.
$9.90 and $3.40 approximately for Doremus. $4.80 Nothing Like a Dane, and $3.10 for Vintage Crop. And Damien Oliver, we often hail him as a great rider, but that was one of his finest rides ever.
Oh, incredible. He just sort of came up at the right moment. Nothing Like a Dane. Shane Dye had ridden that beautifully. And Vintage Crop, what a great run of his, Dan. He was back last. By gee, Michael Kinane threaded his way through the field. Got home very well. But, well, all the honours with Doremus.
And they've done it again. The FBI have done it again.
Tremendous.
Their third Melbourne Cup after success with Terrific, Sub-Zero, and Lee is the trainer. And look
He's
at
a
David.
delighted guy. Yeah. Well, second last year.
Let's go down to Johnny Letts. He's got Damien. He won the Caulfield Cup only a month ago. The horse hasn't started since. Johnny Letts with Damien Oliver.
Yeah, we've got an excited Damien. Damien, what about that, the Melbourne Cup second last year, Paris Lane? You made amends today.
Oh, mate, that last 200 is the longest 200 of your life, I tell you.
I think you had all of Victoria or all of Australia on you because of the crowd. We were over here, we were 2 furlongs away and we could hear it, and I found myself even cheering you, wanting you to keep going, mate.
Oh, mate, it's just sensational. I'd like to thank my mum and my brother in Perth. They've just been the greatest supporters of mine ever since I moved over from Perth, and gee, I just love them both, mate.
Damien, 23 years of age, you've ran second in a Melbourne Cup, you've won a Melbourne Cup, you've won, what now, 4 Caulfield Cups? Gee, where do you go from here?
Mate, this is unbelievable. I just won the Melbourne Cup!
He's very excited, fellas, and he's going to have a great night tonight, and he deserves it. He's a champion.
Thank you, John. Oh, great stuff. Good on you, Damien. He's one of the nicest guys you could ever meet, and I couldn't wish for the crowning moment in his career than anyone more so than Damien Oliver. He deserves it. He's a great guy and a great rider, and never more so than that ride on that horse. You would never believe he started from the extreme outside barrier.
Oh, it's just incredible, but you know, as you say, he's a great worker. He's always at the track. Actually, the first 2 jockeys home, they really put in, these 2 guys. I noticed at Breakfast of the Stars at Moonee Valley, they were the 2 guys that rode the most horses work, and they get the rewards. There's a great shot of Damien going to the line, and boy, is he excited.
Now, the official placings are 6, 23 and 3. Stony Bay was pulled up but didn't complete the course. Let's go down to Peter Donegan with Lee Friedman.
Yes, Lee Friedman, his 3rd Melbourne Cup. What about that?
Just over the moon, over the moon. I've had so much faith in this horse for so long. He reminded me when he won at Eagle Farm, his first start for me, of Superimposed, and I think he's, in the handicap class, he's right up there with him, I think.
Brilliant ride.
Great ride, great ride. Got a bit further back than I wanted to. I'll have to talk to him about that. But, no, great staying effort.
He won't win a beauty contest, but you'll never forget him.
He's a sensational horse. You know, when he won the Caulfield Cup and he went to the line as he did, I thought this horse has got Melbourne Cup written all over him. And in fact, we thought the Caulfield Cup was a bonus.
I've spoken to you many times over the last couple of months, and you said the Melbourne Cup is still the pinnacle.
It was the one we wanted to win. I knew he'd go great at Flemington, and isn't it great, you know? Isn't it just great, you know, to have the local hometown champion jockey win the race? It's fantastic.
Congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
Lee Friedman, the winning trainer, and let's listen to the ovation as Damien Oliver brings the Melbourne Cup winner back, Doremus. He came from the outside stall. He's beaten some of the best jockeys and horses in the world, and now he returns to the winner's stall at Flemington on this great day, Foster's Melbourne Cup Day. Triumph. Let's not forget the run of the 3-year-old, Nothing Like a Dane, who came so close to creating history, and the gallant Vintage Crop, the 9-year-old. Damien Oliver has done just about all there is to do in racing. Now he's done the biggest thing you can do in Australian racing. He's won the Melbourne Cup. Massive media throng around this great young rider who came over from Perth and had his problems adjusting. He had to be given a stern talking to a couple of times by the man who's now congratulating him, Lee Friedman. But he took the advice on board, and now he is the champion rider. But that man, Jason Weaver, is explaining what went wrong with Double Trigger to Mark Johnston. Double Trigger, the international horse, the English horse trained by the Scotsman. He was just about one of the first horses beaten. Stony Bay appeared to break down at about the 1,400 metre mark. Old Vintage Crop is an absolute marvel. We won't see him again probably. He's run 3 times in the Melbourne Cup, but what a horse he's been. So amidst these somewhat chaotic scenes in the mounting yard, Damien Oliver comes back now to complete the all-important task.
First horse 6, D. Oliver, 54.5, right?
Yes!
Second horse 23, S. Dye,
Well done, mate.
47.5.
It's insane, I just can't believe it. Can't believe I won the Melbourne Cup.
That caps it all off.
Oh, I tell you what, that last 200 metres just takes forever. I thought the hair's gone, yeah. Mate, it's just insane. I've got tingles all through my body. It's unbelievable.
I just mentioned the fact that the man who just congratulated you, Lee Friedman, had to give you a talking to when you first came over, and you knuckled down to the task. You're now the best in Australia. You've now won the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, we've had our indifferences, I suppose, over the few years, but all in all, he's been a pretty hard taskmaster, and I think that's great. You've got to have that in life to be a success, and he's been a great credit to my career. But my mum and my brother back in Perth, Jason and Pat, have been just greatest supporters throughout my career.
You realise in the last 5 minutes or so you have just changed your life forever?
It's unbelievable, and I'd also just like to credit this win to my father, who was killed in a race fall when I was only 3 years old, and I just wish he could be here to see this today. It'd be unbelievable.
Good to see great races won by great jockeys. Well done, mate.
Thanks, mate. Good on you.
Damien Oliver, the winning rider, and Janelle Friedman is just calling Damien over. I think I can probably guess why. Yeah, for that. Correct weight has been notified. Weight is there. So there is Damien Oliver coming back after the crowning moment of his career, the crowning moment of any jockey's career, to win the Melbourne Cup. And as he does media interviews all over the place, we might try and just get out to the mounting yard and see if there is any post-mortem about what happened with the overseas horses. Almost on cue, the